Credit repair, credit repair, credit repair. Get your credit repaired because stuff is changing right under our feet. Now, there was all these videos about the market's going to crash, housing bubble, stock market crash, the dollar is worthless, all of this stuff, all of this BS stuff, and it made people get paralyzed to not do anything. I'm watching CNBC just right now. Prices are coming down. See, what the news and what all of these candidates, some of them did, they told us, presidential candidates, they have expressed it, some of them, on certain sides, is that a company, a business owner, or a corporation makes their prices. The government, the federal government, cannot go in there and say to a company, oh, you're charging too much for hamburgers, you're charging too much for clothing, you're charging too much for cars. They can't do that. But the psychology of what everybody thinks can happen is that that's the way that it works. And it doesn't work that way. You want to know the way that it works? It works because people like you and me, we just stop going and buying the stuff. We just stop going and buying it, and then they have to do things to entice you, and they're selling the same thing that they were selling for $15 now for $5 all over the place. And you're going to see it come down everywhere except for in one sector, which was the one that most of these so-called real estate gurus were wrong, so wrong that it frustrates me because it put a lot of people into a bad situation because they did not go out and buy a home when they should have bought a home. Housing is not going to go down. There was people telling people to go and rent. It was better to rent than it was to buy. And now that their rents are going up and up and up. And the people who bought, yeah, they might have bought when the interest rates were sky high, or they are still high. But guess what? The interest rates, they just showed it. There's going to be a rate cut probably for sure in September. So, and then they're going to do it again, and then they do it again, do it again. What has to go all the way up will start to come down. But they make everybody focus so hard on the up without understanding that that's where the money is made. Like they're talking about the wealth transfer. The wealth transfer. Let me tell you how people with money do stuff. If you buy stuff now on credit or during this period of time when interest rates were way high, keep in mind you're buying, if it's material stuff, even like a vehicle, or you're buying real estate or property or commercial buildings or assets, and you bought with money at a high rate and you were able to service that debt. Guess what's going to happen when those interest rates go down? You refinance rate and term, and you automatically have instant cash flow from the money that you were already spending. See, they don't want people or some, I don't want to say, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. What it is I think that there's a lot of people that make videos to just scare people into not doing anything. Now, it's different if someone makes a video and it scares you into action. That's different. But not to make a video to paralyze people. And I see a lot of people that are paralyzed. I had a gentleman in my office referred to me by his cousin. Now, his cousin, they both came into the office. I fixed his cousin. You saw his video. His name is Mazin. You saw his video. $250,000 in debt. Took us 4 years to repair his credit and get him out of debt. He wrote a video. He was depressed. He was like, couldn't sleep. I mean, you could just watch the video. This was true. He comes up to my office. He 13 restaurants, 4 food trucks, property in Mexico, because he was like, Steve, you need to buy property in Mexico. Me and my brother bought one in Mexico, and that's where we're gonna retire. That's what he was saying. I was saying I'm not gonna probably do it in Mexico, but I might go to a place in one of the African countries. I just found out that that I will be able to qualify for a dual citizenship based off of my DNA test that I did, that I can get automatic dual citizenship to the country that my DNA had the biggest match to. Um, but he was saying that. But here's the thing: he had his cousin was here. He brought him here to me because he was like, "I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna make you do it." And I said, "Mazin, you can't make your cousin do it." And I understood what he was thinking, and it was why I stopped. I don't talk people into repairing their credit. What I do is to let you know and let you become aware of the consequences. All I do is consequences, is tell people the consequences. Because Matt, you have me here that helped Mazin, which is a direct relationship with his cousin, and saw the benefits that he has been able to accomplish by for number one, focusing on the credit first, and then expanding on his businesses. His own cousin had this wall of disbelief, and that's why I don't talk anyone into wanting to repair their credit. What I say is just these are the consequences if you don't do anything. So what I just named off was a list of consequences. If your credit is messed up, when times get better, you're going to be playing catch up. You're going to be playing the catch up game. When times is tough is when you need to be exercising the hardest. Exercising on working on your credit now, because when it gets better, you're going to, all of the stuff that you're paying on right now, just package it all up. Write it down on a piece of paper. All of the stuff that you're paying on right now. What if you could slash the payments in half, even on your mortgage, even on your automobile? Slash it in half, because your credit will allow you to be able to get those rate and term refinances. Like, I want people to think, like, I'm making you aware of it. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. But CNBC, go check it for yourself or look in the news. Prices are down. You see the commercials already with the $5 deals for the same stuff that we were paying $15, $20 for. Stocks are coming down, but that's a rebound. That's going to be a rebound effect. This is the game that they play, is they pull all their money out so they can go and pay for some stuff, and then it's going to rebound up because they have millions of shares. But for the people like me who, couple of hundred or couple of thousand shares in multiple companies, we let it go down. They try to, if you get scared, you're going to sell low. Let it go back up, but you can't get greedy. That's the only thing. Don't get greedy, but but you can't just jump out the game because stuff went down. If it's a strong company, strong earnings, that they do good business, you can almost bet that it's going to go back up, but you do got to be careful. So I'm not giving investing advice, but that's the game that I've seen over the years, the up and down game. And in the housing market, those houses, they're not going to come down. The reason why is because when the interest rates go down, those same people who bought the houses now and when the rates were up, their house values are going to skyrocket. And then they're going to win two ways. They're going to be able to win, number one, by going to get a rate and term refinance. That's going to be like gangbusters. So if you need another, if you want to switch careers, get ready to be in the refinance, mortgage refinance industry, because it's going to just go crazy. Millions of homes, millions of properties, refinance, rate and term. And then the other thing, the values are going to go up because the people who are able to buy a house, the prices are going to go up from the sellers because the rates are going to be lower. They can buy more of a house, or they can pay more for the house. So you see how that is. And I was talking about that years ago when these fools were saying it's better to not own anything. No, don't own a property. Just rent. Just pay rent. Just pay rent. Add up all of the rent money you done paid. Add up all the rent money you done paid, and then go see, can you go get a loan on that rent money? So the interest rate's going to come down. So now look, this is the thing. When you're looking at repairing your credit. Oh, one more thing before I forget. To prove that interest rates, that they're about to really pull down on these interest rates. This here I just got this advertisement. Look at that. Let's see if I can get it. Where are we at? You see that 9? If I can, I can't. I don't know why it does this. I don't know why it does. There we go. So we got 9.9%, 9.99%. My credit card company, even though I never carry over a balance, and it's no problem with carrying over a balance, but if you carry over a balance, you better keep it under 30% if you care about your credit fluctuating. If you don't, just make your payments on time and just understand that your credit is going to fluctuate. But they offered me 9.99%, and this is at a time where sky high interest rate. People's credit card interest has jumped because the interest rates increase. So why are they offering me 9.99% interest on my credit card? 9.99%. And if you're getting offers like this, then your credit must be excellent, like mine is. But have you heard of 9.99% on credit cards? Have you heard of that ever on credit cards? Maybe way back in the past, but now? So this is what I'm saying, is that if they're already offering this, these people are in the business of knowing and forecasting things in the future. And they know. So really, they want me to buy stuff and pay monthly at 9.99% because they know that the rates are going to come down. There's going to be a whole bunch of different offers out there for people with excellent credit. And they want to be able to make sure that they get their foot in the door first because these interest rates are going to go down. So now, I understand that, you got to feel good about moving forward. Nobody, just like that gentleman that was here with his cousin, if you don't feel good about moving forward, you're not going to move forward on repairing your credit. I don't care. Watch my video, watch other people's videos, all of these gimmicks and tricks and all of that stuff. It really comes down to how you feel. Because if you feel okay, let's just put the word okay with it. If you feel okay on the inside, it'll allow you to take action on the outside. And it'll allow you, hopefully, to allow things on the outside to materialize, because you have to change on the inside first. That means that you have to start preparing to be a person who is going to manage their credit. Prepare to start being a person who's not going to get too much debt. Preparing to be a person who's going to save money. Preparing to be a person who thinks about living comfortably in the future, but also doing the things now, currently, to get to that picture in the future. And also part of that is living life to the fullest right now. So it's not this Dave Ramsey do stuff today and worry about living tomorrow. No, you live now and you also live tomorrow. And I think that that's one of the things that makes people not feel okay, is because they're like, well, what if I don't even get a chance to experience the stuff in the future? And the only reason why you have that feeling is because you don't feel good now. It's like, I'm living right now. So inside of you, you got this conflict like, well, can I even move forward because it don't matter? So I know you want to protect your money. You want to protect your family. You want to protect your reputation. You want things to get back to normal. The way to get stuff back to normal is to get started working on your credit. Get started on lowering your debt. So now let's talk about it. So first thing that you got to do if you're going to repair your credit, the first thing is you got to make a decision that you will repair your credit. You can't go into it with 1 foot in, 1 foot out, because if you go with 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you're not gonna continue working on your credit. Because right now, most of you, if you've been sitting with bad credit for a while, you are comfortable with having bad credit and you don't even know it. And so I've thrown out this word before. You fear. Maybe you got this fear of the unknown. And then some people will come back at me and they'll be like, I I'm not afraid of repairing my credit. I'm not afraid of going at these debt collectors. I'm not afraid of getting this stuff worked on. And I come back to them and I say, I'm the word fear is misrepresented. It may be a misrepresentative of the way that you express your fear. Because I've seen people who they're not fearful of working on their credit, but the end result of being fearful of working on their credit, they are experiencing the end result because they still got bad credit. They're still suffering the consequences of what people with bad credit have. So whatever way you define fear, and it's defined different with everybody. So it could be you have anxiety about stuff. It could be you just don't think it'll work because it didn't work for somebody else. You might think it won't work for you because it didn't work in the past. So you have a frustration fear, which means a fear of doing it again and being disappointed. So you don't fear working on it, you just fear the disappointment. So it's going to on the inside, and this gets into some of my my hypnosis training, is that all of us if we're not careful, we will subconsciously make decisions that will affect the conscious decisions that we think we are making. And that means that when we decide to do something, something on the inside will boil up based off of past experiences, or we will do the same thing thinking that we're doing something different, and we already have made the decision in our own mind that it is not going to work. And when we see one little piece of something, get one little piece of disappointment, one little piece of what didn't work in the past, you fly back to that comfort zone of, I don't want to work on it. I don't want to work on it. And one of the best pieces of advice that I give to people, and that was given to me, is that you don't understand what it means to be on that side of good credit or getting out of debt yet. So until you practice all of the things that you're going to have to do to either get back there or to get there, it's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to feel good all the time, and you're not going to completely understand it, because how can you understand something that you know nothing about? And that's why when I hear the word all the time, I don't understand, I don't understand, I don't understand. My wife even says it some of the time. I don't understand why someone would do this. And I even say it. I don't understand why this happened or this happened. The reason why we say I don't understand is because in our mind, we're trying to put together that picture of why that person either did something that way, or why they won't do something that way, or why they won't see it that way, or why we don't see it that way. We don't understand is rooted from our own mind, trying to go back and make sense of what we're sitting here seeing through our own filter. And when you're working on your credit, the first thing that you need to do, that you need to overcome, is you need to get all 3 credit reports, and you need to review those for what it is. Some of the best results that we've ever gotten from our clients is where they actually sat there and in that review, they actually paid attention to what it is, not what they think it needs to be or what they want it to be. Because we've had communications with people, and we were like, what about this? And, it's a credit card. Like, what are you going to do about that credit card? Well, I don't know. It ain't mine, this type of stuff. Like, wait, hold on a second. You telling us that that's not yours. And right there from that, and my sales reps are instructed, is that you may not be ready to move forward with this whole thing. You may not be ready to move forward, because credit repair is not just about sending out letters to try to get stuff removed. No, Credit repair is to get stuff removed off your credit reports and also deal with the stuff that's on your credit reports, stuff that is not validated, stuff that is not verified for its accuracy on the reports. But just because something gets removed from the reports, I had a live chat. Person said, I'm getting sued by a debt collector and it's not on my reports. It don't have to be on your reports for you to get sued. It's just on your reports to kind of get you to take action and maybe approach them about taking care of that debt. So it's not just, because it's on there, that's part of it. But they have other means to come after you to bring the pain of a collection or bring up the pain of an original creditor debt, and it can be removed. Credit Repair Shop does A to Z. If something is on your credit reports and we get it removed, it's not coming back, because we also go to the furnishers. So if you're working on repairing your credit and you're just focusing on the bureaus, and don't do no BS stuff, you think you're going to send it to the CFPB, look, just type all over online. That stuff was only working when they first enacted it. You have to deal with the creditors and the debt collectors. You got to deal with them. If you're going to ultimately get to excellent credit, good credit, where you want to be, you got to deal with the bureaus for accuracy. You got to deal with the creditors and the furnishers or debt collectors and creditors to put an end to it. You got to deal with them. And if you're not ready to start climbing that mountain, you're going to be in the same position. That's why you got to start feeling good now about what it's going to take to get you to where you want to be, and stop putting a little a time clock stopwatch on there. It's got to be done by this time. If it needs to be done by that time, you need to listen to the instructions on how to get it done by that time. So let's just say you came to us and you say, I need to buy a house. My credit is 650. I went to the mortgage company to try to get pre-qualified. They said, I got to get rid of this stuff. Now, here's the problem with the way that they say it, is you got to get rid of it. What they mean is you got to resolve it. So if someone came to us and they said, we need to get this resolved so we can get our house, so we can get our family into that house, because it's not just about buying a house. It's a home for the family. It's a place where it's yours. It's a place where all of the money that you put into it goes into equity. You're building equity. A portion of the money that you pay your mortgage with is building equity. So it's more than just I'm buying a house. It's putting up money for the future, in a sense. It's building wealth for you and your family. It's ownership. It's pride. It's a lot. That's what it is. And so if you feel good about why you got to do that, that means that if you came to us, we're going to tell you, we got to resolve this stuff. And it's not about disputing. We're going to contact these creditors or debt collectors, get that resolved so you can get to the house. Person say, well, it's going to cost me like $3,000-$4,000 to resolve all that stuff. Well, it's going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially, or even more, if you don't get into that house and you keep paying rent. So people think so much about remember what I said earlier, like protecting your money, protecting your family, protecting your reputation, getting your life back to normal. But the fear is in the miss or the don't understanding part of our brain, because you want some type of consistency with something that you did in the past, or it doesn't make sense to you. You express it by, I don't understand, or you express it by being fearful. You express it by, I'm going to spend my money on this stuff. No, that's not what you need to be focused on. You need to be focusing on, is that what you really want? And that means that if that's what you really want, you're going to have a feeling on the inside, and that allows you to be able to do what it takes to get that done. Now, I can't speak for other companies, but I can tell you with full faith and understanding and my word, is that we will continue working to get you to the best resolution. And if it gets to a point where we got to do settlements, if you're not trying to get a house or something, and you're just like, I just need to, we've done the disputing where we look for accuracy. We worked with the furniture validations to get all the documentation, and now we're on we're on the sprint, the final 100-yard dash to get your credit repaired. We got to move you to settlements to get that stuff resolved. Because if you get that stuff settled, you're going to be able to shoot forward so fast in your life. So after you get your credit reports, you review it, you look at it, you see it for what it is. And the next step is you put together a game plan to start working on your credit. And that first part of the game plan is going to be, depending on the type of negative items that you have, depending on if you have original creditors who have sold accounts, it could be just so many different things that could be on there that, I've seen so much, but let's just pick one. Let's just say that you have a charge off from an original creditor and that original creditor sold that account. So if that original creditor sold your account, the way that we would approach working on that account is to let the original creditor know that we have a document here from a debt collection company who is trying to attempt to collect on the debt that they say that they purchased from you. Number one, is this true? Number two, if they purchased the debt from you, you accepted payment for less, or maybe they paid you full. It doesn't matter, because what your goal is, what your ultimate goal is to have that original creditor place on there that the account was paid for less, or they can choose to remove it. Now, when I've stated that and said that to people, they were like, oh, I don't understand how that can happen. Why would they do that? It doesn't make sense. I don't understand. They would throw things like that out, and I would just go back and say, okay, that's what I said. Now let's look at what you've probably already experienced. If you deal with an original creditor, it doesn't matter if it's a repo, it doesn't matter if it's a credit card debt, it doesn't matter if it's a personal loan. If you go bad on that loan, it's going to have to go into a charge-off status, because they have to do that to be compliant with banking and lending regulations. They can't lie and say that account is a performing account. So all of this stuff that you've heard about, they put it on charge-off so they can go get the money out the treasury, or all of this stuff, that's BS. They put it as a charge-off to take it off of one set of books and put it on another set of books. If you were to call that original creditor the next day and they said, hey, we're not going to sell the debt, we'll talk to you about settling the debt, they would still have it charged off. And if you paid it in full, it would still say paid in full, charge off. And the original creditor is not allowed by according to banking regulations and credit reporting, to remove it under that circumstance. They cannot, but they can choose to remove it, but you can't negotiate and say, I'm going to pay it to get it removed. That is a no-no. Don't even approach them with that. You will be asking them to break the law. They can remove it for inaccuracy. They can remove it because they made a mistake on something, but they cannot remove a charged off account. Original creditors cannot remove a charged off account based off of you asking them to pay for delete. No, won't happen. It's not going to happen. So, but if you've had a charged off, you've negotiated with the original creditor, you will still see on there that it's a charge off, paid for less if you paid it for less, even if you paid it in full. Because I've had people come to me and they said, I paid it in full, and they still got charge off on there. That's because it's two different things. You got to understand that. So the first thing that you can do, if you have a charge off, it was sold to a debt collector, you can use that same documentation to go back to them and say that it was paid for less. You want it to be marked paid for less, or the inaccurate item, the way that it's posted on your credit reports, they can go ahead and remove it. If they get it removed, fine. If they don't and they just put paid for less, fine. It removed will help you the most if you didn't have good payment history before, it'll help you the most. If you did have good payment history and they remove it, your scores are going to go down. The reason why is because that good payment history that you had before the account went bad is going to be knocked off. So you're going to lose some of the points that you had. If they choose to just put it paid for less, charge off paid for less, won't hurt you because it's resolved. No creditor moving forward is going to stop you from being able to move forward if you have the account resolved. That's just one technique right there that you could utilize right now. But it's not going to feel right. It's going to be a lot of back and forth. You're going to have to read the documents when they respond to you, and you're going to have to respond back appropriately. Next thing is you're going to have to, when you put your game plan together. So you get your credit reports, put your game plan together, and then you put everything into action, and you actually do it, and you have some patience. If you just take those 4 things right there, you're going to be way off, ahead of like 50-60% ahead of most people. And then of the people who don't do nothing and they're trying to wait until the economy get good, you're going to be 100% ahead of them, because they're going to be playing catch up when you're going to be cutting your interest rates and keeping more money in your pocket. So if you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch video What Makes Us Different so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. You need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com to grab your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports and all 3 scores. If you have debt collectors coming after you early, like this one that I have right here in my hands, they give you the opportunity to dispute any or all or part or all of the debt. They have to give you that. If you don't respond within 30 days, they're going to assume, and it says it right here, if you don't dispute it within 30 days, they'll give you a date. They're going to assume that all the information is correct. And once they assume that all the information is correct, they place it on your credit reports, and then you already know what you're going to go through with that. Grab my 3-pack of letters: statute of limitations letter, debt validation letter, and cease and desist collection activities letter. Use the one that's appropriate for your specific situation. Thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.